Hey everybody, so how are we doing today? You look fabulous. Actually, I can't see you, I don't know that. Like what I did? Excuse me. But yeah, you like what I did with the background, the change of the room? Isn't it great? I love it. Anyway, as we get going... Oh god, excuse me. So today, from Reuters, Venezuela rejoins regional defense treaty, but Guaido warns it's no magic solution. Well, anyone who's smart realizes that in politics, there's no such thing as a magic solution. But anyway, Venezuela's National Assembly approved a law returning the OPEC nation to a regional defense treaty on Tuesday, while opposition leader Juan Guaido sought to tamp down supporters' hopes. It could lead to President Nicolas Maduro's imminent downfall. Well, how could it exactly? Let's find out. Or should I say, let's find out. Love you, Varg. Anyway, opposition hardliners had been pressuring Guaido to join the Inter-American Treaty of Reciprocal Assistance signed in Rio de Janeiro in 1947. As a precursor to requesting a foreign military intervention to oust Maduro, a socialist who has overseen economic collapse and is accused of human rights violations. The TR is not magic. It is not a button that we press and then tomorrow everything is resolved, Guaido told a rally of supporters in Caracas using the treaty's Spanish initials. In itself, it is not the solution. It obliges us to take to the streets with greater force to exercise our majority. The treaty states that an attack on one of the members, which include most large Western Hemisphere countries, including the United States, Brazil, and Colombia, should be considered an attack on all. Venezuela and other leftist Latin American countries left the alliance between 2012 and 2013. Venezuela plunged into a deep power struggle in January when Guaido invoked the Constitution to declare a rival presidency, arguing Maduro's May 2018 re-election was illegitimate. He has been recognized as the rightful leader by most Western countries, including the United States. Maduro, who calls Guaido a U.S. puppet seeking to oust him in a coup, remains in control of government functions 6 months into Guaido's campaign. The economy and public services have continued to deteriorate in that time, and on Monday much of the country went dark in the biggest blackout since March. That has led some Maduro opponents, such as former Caracas Mayor Antonio Ledesma, to punish Guaido to request foreign military intervention to oust Maduro. Yeah, here's the thing. The blackout was actually caused distantly by Hugo Chavez when he nationalized their power so that the government would be in charge of electricity, but then didn't actually invest enough money into maintaining power. And that's why the electricity is failing, because there's not enough infrastructure for electricity at the moment. They can barely sustain it because of Chavez incompetency. And some people try and say that Juan Guaido couldn't be a U.S. puppet simply because he's a socialist. Well, how exactly does that stop him from being a U.S. puppet exactly? Because he could still be supported and funded by the CIA and be a socialist, you know. I mean, that doesn't really get in the way of it. If he felt that there was an advantage by receiving a U.S. backing and it favored everyone involved, then he'd go for it. Certainly. I'm not saying he is, but people who are saying that it's not possible are clearly not thinking it through. I advise you to think it through, because it is plausible. I am leaving it as plausible, but go no further than plausible. But yes, Guaido is fundamentally correct, I think, in that rejoining this treaty alliance would not be the magic answer. It's just going to guarantee that Venezuela be a little safer. U.S. officials have said a military option is on the table for Venezuela, but has so far focused on economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure to choke off cash flow to Maduro and try to convince top military officials to get behind Guaido, and thus adding to Venezuela's problems. You know, so way to go, America. Latin American and European countries are pushing a diplomatic solution to Venezuela's political and economic crisis, and many have criticized the possible use of force. Norway's government is currently mediating negotiations between the government and the opposition in Barbados. Because that's what Norway is good at. They're very good at mediation. They're very good diplomats, although not necessarily the best economists in of themselves. Mind you, it is kind of ridiculous, the idea of sanctions, especially in the case of Venezuela. Like, either you behave the way we want you to, or we get to decide whether or not your children get to eat tonight. You know? Because you're literally modifying their economy. You're fucking with their economy, and it could result in starvation and death. And all just because they're not acting the way you want them to, or doing what you think they should do. That's incredibly selfish, and it's none of your business. Mind you, in some cases it might be acceptable in terms of if they're harassing your country, and then you can harass them right back. But even then, you'd want to reconsider the idea of sanctions given the consequences of their use. So you can sort of understand why I would have an issue with that. Still, the military conflict is growing in Venezuela. And there's no clear winner yet. But I'm willing to bet that it's probably going to be Maduro. Maduro has more of the military on his side, I believe. Whereas Guaido just has the people. But either way, no matter which one wins, you're still fucked if you're in Venezuela. The country's been completely screwed by too much government regulation, by too much redistributionism, which has resulted in a misuse of their currency, to the point where now it is no longer as valuable as it was, and certain important elements of their infrastructure are now gone, or otherwise at risk of being gone. So no matter which wins, you're basically screwed. Anyway.